Welcome, everybody, to the first ever Vera Farris podcast. I'm your host, Orren Stewart, joined by the one and only Mr. Colton Van Cleave. Episode 1 of the Vera Farris podcast. How are you doing today, buddy?
I'm doing good. How about yourself, Orren? Thank you for having me.
I'm doing very well. You know, it's first podcast. We got a lot of stuff done today. We're both very tired. We were up early this morning recording a short film for another class that we have here at Stockton. But anyway, might as well just hop right back into it. So the Vera Farris podcast, if you don't know, this is the first one, like I said before. We're going to be talking to interesting guests, you know, anybody that me or...
So I'm interesting enough?
Yeah.
All right.
You know, almost anybody's interesting enough. But
I'm honored. Thank you.
There we go. But anyway, so we're going to be talking to interesting guests, you know, people that I think give some good entertainment, you know, some casual conversation back and forth, you know, whatever it is. But anyway, we might as well just hop right into it. Colton, who is Colton Van Cleave today?
I think you explained it. I'm pretty tired.
Tired, of course. Yeah.
No, like who I am, I'm a... Jeez, I'm sorry. I'm a sophomore communications major here at Stockton University. Really so much about myself. I'm trying to go for film here, trying to go down the film route.
Of course.
It's amazing. I think really only doing 2 years here at college. Obviously still got, you know, my senior year to go. Mm-hmm. But I guess what I can take out of these 2 years is that you really truly don't know what you want to do until, you know, I guess you kind of find it. You know, I think I'm still trying to like find exactly what I want to do. But I have a very I think it's weird with me because like coming into college, I knew for a fact, I thought I knew that I want to do TV journalism and that's it.
Yeah.
You know, I love TV news, I love journalism, love current events, still love following up on it and everything, but I really found that film is definitely my route to go because I kind of like creating and kind of like telling stories in a way. Mm-hmm. And it's entertaining. There's an entertainment aspect with it. So I think definitely what I can definitely say is like within these first 2 years, it's really amazing just what, you know, you kind of find yourself in a way.
Of course.
And
well, I think
so I guess who I am today, I'm a filmmaker, but maybe tomorrow I'll be a, you know, a aspiring garbage man. Who knows?
An astronaut or something. Yeah. I think it's funny that you bring up the whole thing about, you know, finding yourself during college because even myself, you know, I went to community college my first year down in Atlantic Cape. Didn't really know what I had my mindset on. You know, when I was younger, I wanted to be. I had my mindset on being a weatherman and being on TV broadcasting the weather. Yeah, exactly.
I've known you since my sophomore year of high school.
Yeah, we're talking
about
when we were younger, like in between probably the ages of like 9 and like 13 maybe.
Of course.
Until I moved back up here, but so I had my mindset on that, and then you know I don't think anybody has their mind completely made up when they get to college. You know, I mean it's very rare. Even if you do have your mind made up, you might change your major within the next year or something like that. But
you know, I think that's a very interesting you know, point you kind of bring up because that is true. Really, no one does know who they are, I guess, coming into college or what they want to do.
Yeah,
you know,
matter of fact, I don't even think I knew anybody in like in our friend group that knew exactly what they wanted to do right.
No, but I think we had like a whole I guess broad understanding of what we kind of want to do.
Yeah.
And even if you don't have that, you know, I think it's still fine because, you know, you just of course kind of getting motivational, I guess, a little bit here, but
yeah.
It's all about finding your passion, you know,
of course.
And I think the worst thing that someone can like, you know, ever like tell me when I ask them like, oh, like, what do you want to do? Whatever, just like a icebreaker kind of conversation starter. What do you want to do with your life? And they're just like, oh, well, you know, I want to just do this. Why? Because it just sounds reasonable.
Yeah.
It's like, why do you want to live reasonable?
Yeah. You got to, you know, my grandparents always told me that if you're enjoying what you're doing in life, you're never going to have to work a day in your life. And I live by that motto every day. So I just try and keep myself going and knowing that at the end of the school process that it'll all be worth it. And, you know, just like anything else, really, like, you know, as far as that goes. But anyway, of course. So let's get into a little bit of your background, childhood, et cetera, high school, anything else that you think might be worth sharing. So let's just start with where you were born, where you grew up. I know that you moved here from another state when you were younger. So let's just kind of get a little bit of a background there just to let the audience know.
Well, I was born in Cayman Courthouse, New Jersey. I was blessed, of course, to have, you know, a mom and dad who just really cared for me and just always told me just to do whatever I want and just give it your all. My dad did 24 years in the Coast Guard, so I guess I was kind of lucky enough to Mr.
Van Cleave, if you're watching, thank you so much for your service, by the way.
Yeah, so we were really lucky to kind of travel, definitely for sure. And we moved to Iowa when I was like in preschool. Stayed there for 2 years. So I did preschool and kindergarten in Iowa, a little town called Keokuk, Iowa.
Whoa!
And
say that 5 times fast.
Keokuk, Iowa. I know. And it's not spelled Keokuk. Like, see, it's a weird spelling, but
yeah.
Yeah. Then when I was in first grade, my dad got transferred to Omaha, Nebraska. So we lived in Elkhorn, which is a town right outside of Omaha, and I lived there from first grade to third grade.
Yep.
And then after that, came back to Cape May in fourth grade, and I've been there since. And so I think, childhood was all about traveling, and it's all about just,
Of course, yeah.
I guess I think that's probably why I've kind of, even to this day, still love the concept of road trips because, even if I tell somebody, I've done road trips, and they're like, oh yeah, like me too. I was like, oh, like what have you done? And they're like, oh, I've gone down to like, North Carolina or whatever.
Yeah.
So like a 4-hour drive, 5-hour drive, whatever it is. I was like, oh, well, I've done cross countries from here to South Dakota, Nebraska, and that's like 13 hours at a time for 3 days.
Yeah, of course, it's not very fun.
They're like, how do you like that? I'm like, I love that.
Yeah, well, I went back and forth from North Carolina for from 5th grade until when I moved back up here till 8th grade. So I went back and forth, and even a couple years after that, when I moved back up here, I went to see my parents occasionally. But 8 hours in the car, especially the same way. It wasn't the most scenic of routes going down to North Carolina that way, especially the way we went.
Still beautiful though.
Yeah, but even these days, I see I don't see many kids that, I don't see many kids that enjoy traveling as much as they should, or being more spontaneous rather than just focusing directly on their schoolwork or like work or just like their outside job or anything like that. Sometimes I just think it's necessary to let loose a little bit and then just go somewhere for a weekend or for a couple of days, whatever it may be, and just get your head out of things. And
I think it expands your mind a little bit because,
of course,
when what's so beautiful about this country is not only just like the freedoms that we have, but also just the difference in people and culture. And it is a difference in culture. It's amazing how different New Jersey people are from South Dakota, of course, or Nebraska people, and of course, like laws change, and you really see that too. So last time we did a full, road trip from here to South Dakota, where my dad's side of the family lives, in Sioux Falls, and we did 13 hours ish around that 3 days, and you see that, like I said, the difference in scenery and laws and practices, because once you kind of cross the Pennsylvania into Ohio line, laws started to change, and then definitely in Indiana, people want to wear helmets, and they're riding their motorcycle at like 80 miles an hour, whatever. It's free open land, which is it's awesome, but geez, like just looking at that, just like, man, like put on a damn helmet or something. But no, it's amazing, like the just difference in scenery, like it's just corn straight all throughout, and it's here, of course, like in the East Coast where you're driving and
it seems like there's no free space anywhere.
Yeah, like you if you don't have like you have to fill up on gas or whatever. Here it's like, oh, we'll just go to like the next gas station. It's no big deal.
For anybody that doesn't live in New Jersey, by the way, we're the only state that doesn't pump our own gas. We actually have people that pump gas for us.
Us and Oregon.
It used to be Oregon. Oregon doesn't.
Really? Actually, I didn't know that. Wow.
I'm pretty sure it's just New Jersey now. Last I checked. But
wow,
fun little fact for anybody out there that might not be from New Jersey.
Exactly.
But anyway,
but if you're driving, like let's say Iowa, that's a really I guess kind of big state to kind of drive in because it's so wide. The state is just so wide in itself, and if you miss a gas station, then you're kind of tough out of luck.
Fucked
because
for a little while,
yeah, seriously, because you have to just wait until, of course, like the next gas station, which can be for miles,
Yeah.
But it's fun though because it helps. I think when you're spending time with the family and or friends or whatever, just kind of going out on just road trips, like, I know it's kind of cheesy to say, but you kind of like find yourself, you kind of bring yourself back down to earth because you're like, when you keep yourself concentrating in just one little area for so long, you think the whole world just revolves around the whole.
Of course.
And I think that's why I definitely learned throughout my childhood, and I think my parents gave me that because you understand that the whole world doesn't revolve around one town because you've been living there for so long, because you travel, because you've seen different areas. You understand that there's different viewpoints, the different practices, and
there's
that's what makes America beautiful.
There's different ways of viewing things and different how do I explain this? It's different. It's a whole, traveling in itself is like it's more of like a lifestyle oriented thing. You either do it or you don't. And I feel like at least with my experiences traveling, I've met so many different types of people, whether it was just going in and out of an airport or going to a certain part of the country. And I've met so many amazing people and made so many amazing connections with people in different states. And I think it's important for any college student, really, because like, think about it this way, you can't, for the most part, kids that are in high school can't really travel by themselves because of their age.
Of course.
And then after college, most people are involved with a job of some sort. So really, the best time to do it is while you're in college, when you're not taken up with school time or work. Of course, do it within your own means and don't miss out any work or miss classes or things like that just to travel. But
and absolutely, and I guess I was just lucky to kind of do it, throughout my childhood, of course.
Yeah.
And I think at such like a young age, So I guess with me coming out, traveling, I was, like I said, I went to Iowa. We lived in Iowa for my preschool, kindergarten years, and then Nebraska, from my first grade to third grade. So moving out here to Cape May, I was in fourth grade, so I guess it was easier, for me to kind of, I guess, adapt to like, friend group because you're young at the time.
Yeah, of course.
Of course, my sister, she was in like eighth grade when we moved in here, or moved back to Cape May in 2008. So,
Same
of
as
course,
me.
she was older, of course, you know, but of course, same as you, from North Carolina.
Yeah, I moved back to, right before we got into the nitty gritty of eighth grade year. I moved back up in October of that year. So yeah. All right, but before we get a little bit off kilter here, I want to see. I just want to get a little bit into your high school years, especially like your come up in the film scene, and as far as any athletics, things like that in high school. So if you want to just like start with your freshman year and then come all the way to college, just let us know a little bit.
High school, where do I start really? My freshman year, I really didn't get myself involved as much with, TV media, film, or anything. I don't think it was whether I was too scared. I think I was just kind of, I guess in a way, kind of afraid of failure. I did golf all my 4 years. I was a 4-year varsity letterman in the Lower Cape May Regional golf team. And that was a really fun experience. Like, I guess kind of go to golf for a little bit. Golf, the reason why it's my favorite sport, I think, is the best game ever because it does humble you very fast. Yeah. Because it's not anybody else that's against you. It's you against the course.
Yes.
And if you mess up, it's on you.
It's on you. It's not on anybody
No
else.
one else is making you mess up.
Yeah.
It's only you in the course. So I think that's once you shoot very well, when you have very good rounds, and you see your name in the newspaper saying that you scored for Lower Cape May, like it adds to I guess the gift and the reward because it's awesome. And I did 4 years golf. I was a 4-year letterman. I was captain my senior year. And but I guess as far as film, I really didn't get started with film until my junior year. That's when I really wanted to join. I joined LCM Today. Yep. And at the time, Sammy Best, he was the teacher, and he taught me.
Shout out to Mr. Best. If you happen to watch this, Mr. Best, you're the man.
Of course.
Anyway,
he taught me a lot. I think he started me off very well. That's when I started doing like interviews and doing LCM Tonight and everything, and he just taught me the basics of interviewing and really editing. Yeah. And all that kind of stuff.
You got your foot in the door, really.
He really did. He really did. And I think above all, I liked his energy. I think it's funny because some people who had him, they can like say like, oh, he's kind of like mean or he's kind of rude or something. Where of course it might come off like that sometimes.
Yeah, that's just his facade when he first.
But
when he
it's kind of like looking at it, and even I began to understand very fast that it's kind of a motivator kind of way. It's kind of like to say, this is the reality of the business, and he wanted us to succeed, all of us, at LCM Today and Lower Cape May. So he helped me out a lot. And, of course. Then my senior year, of course, Gina Bronson, she came in and she helped me a lot. She kind of took the throne, and she's really progressed LCM Today. I mean, like, I keep in contact with everyone from there still, and I see, what they're doing. Is good. And it's amazing. I mean, like, geez, LCM Today is really thriving, really, right now. And there are a lot of advances with everything.
Yeah,
they're hitting the skies with drones.
The whole school in general, Lower Cape May has gotten, in the past, I'd say, like, 5-6 years-ish, since like, the last time, like, when we were freshmen. Me and Colton went to the same high school, by the way. Anybody, Lower Cape May, it's in Cape May, New Jersey. It's about 45 minutes away from Stockton, 45 minutes south. But in the past 5-6 years, they've made lots of improvements to the school. They redid a lot of the fields, the athletic fields. They put a lot more funding into their clubs, things like that. They built a couple new buildings or a couple new athletic buildings, and things on site there. But they've done a good job keeping it really updated. Of course, it still has like a little bit of a negative, vibe to it because it's
that's
lower,
every high school.
But like every high school has some sort of thing that makes them not good. But Lower has done a fantastic job in the past 5-6 years making things updated
and really
taking care of the students.
Yeah, exactly. And yeah, so I did 4 years golf, 4-year Letterman, did LCM today, and actually it's a fun fact about me. I actually did the fall play.
I remember this.
My junior year.
I do remember
of high
this.
school.
I remember this.
And
I might throw, if there's video somewhere, I'm gonna put in a clip right here. But I'm not sure if there's video. But if there is, I will be putting a clip right after this.
Yeah, and it was fun. It was actually a lot of fun. It was 12 Angry Jurors, and I played the old man, so I had like the least amount of parts or least amount of dialogue within my part. And that was fun. That was a fun experience, of course. I think a lesson with that was just like, I tried something new.
Yeah.
I never thought of myself like being in the theater, but I like the showmanship atmosphere. I kind of like the entertainment atmosphere and the vibe around it. So I think that's why I did it.
Of course.
And that was fun. That was a really fun experience, of course. I really liked it, and it's just trying something new. And I guess because of that,
look where it put you.
Of course.
You're doing this now, right?
And in a way, it kind of helps me with film because acting and film, and you don't have to just be a director or an aspiring producer to understand. Like, you have to understand all aspects. You can't tell someone to do something if you haven't done it yourself.
Yeah.
And I think with that, of course, too, it was definitely a good experience, and it was a lot of fun. It was definitely a lot of fun.
Awesome. I'm going to take this second to just, for any high school students that might be listening out there, please get involved at your high school. Try things, do different things. You never know what you're going to end up doing and liking. And just as he explained, he took this not a leap of faith. That's not the right thing to say, but he took this jump into something that he didn't know he would enjoy, but then he ended up liking it. And here he is now, not a film student, but practicing, working towards that goal here at Stockton.
Yeah, like a film student in communications. It even goes for not just high school students, but college students in general. Anybody, like, just, life's too short, and, you have to take a leap of faith once in a while, if not all the time, because if you want to do it, go try, go do it. Why not?
Now that we've got a little bit of a look on like your background with high school and everything like that, I want to gear a little bit more towards what you've done at Stockton so far, being in your second year. I know that you did the Stockton Night Live show back in the last week of February. And then last year you also did a show called The Nest, which was like your iteration of like a news type show. Just tell us a little bit about that and like what you've done and what went into both those productions.
Sure. The Nest, where do I start? Because actually that was really fun. We really didn't do it, like I said, this year at all, because I know Jackson, he was in the process of getting started with a game show. Yeah. And we kind of put it off to the side, but I really want to look into that, and start doing that again for my junior and senior year, looking forward. But our freshman year last year, we did The Nest. It was basically like a news show that pretty much reviewed all the stories from the issue of the Argo from that week. Mm-hmm. And
the Argo is Stockton's newspaper for anybody that doesn't know.
Yep. And we ranged, from, current events on campus, current, entertainment stuff that happened and national politics, whatever. Really, actually, for The Nest, the one interview I'll really kind of look back on, I did a McDrake interview, and the guy McDrake, he was a former Stockton employee, and now he's a professional wrestler. He was in the OTW, and I believe he still is. I'm not sure yet. I have to look back, but that was a fun interview because we did it in the rink, and it was right before the event happened here at Stockton.
I remember watching this,
and it was a lot of fun, and just the guy's energy too. You can just feel the energy. Yeah. There's something about like those wrestlers; they just have like a certain vibe.
Yeah,
and energy
they're a different breed of people for sure. They're very
and it's motivating. Like, to me, I kind of like it.
They're extremely energetic people.
Yeah,
in my experiences that I've had with them, they're extremely energetic, high energy.
Of course.
but it's a fun time nonetheless.
It really was. It was a lot of fun. And the Nest, we actually did it right here in this studio. And
fun fact,
we actually definitely want to do more shows. Looking forward. But this year, I've been solely really focusing on. I've done a lot of projects on the side, a lot of different interviews. Like I did the congressional interview with Jeff Van Drew, or now Congressman Jeff Van Drew, and but my main thing this year was the Stockton Night Live.
Yep.
And
very fun production, by the way. If anybody didn't come to it, you definitely missed out. It was a lot of fun.
It was a lot of fun, and we want to definitely do a lot more next year. Maybe like once a month. We saw the thing of the format.
Yeah,
it's a very
big production. It definitely takes, if you were to do it like weekly or monthly, something like, or it wouldn't work weekly. There's a lot of production that goes into each episode. There's a lot of cameras, things like that.
Of course, why not though weekly? I mean, we definitely want to look forward into that.
If we can get enough staff to make it work weekly, I'm more than happy to make it work weekly. So if anybody watching this, please get involved. Anybody that's interested in film, television, anything, audio, anything of that nature. If you please get involved.
I think the one thing that I've noticed with this year with SSTV is that we've had a lot of people come into the club and have actually noticed the energy that has come to SSTV.
Yes.
And we really noticed it here at the Stockton Night Live, because I was really happy. I mean, like for our first show at the Campus Center Theater, we had like maybe 20 people, a little over 20 people, which is pretty good for a first show.
Yeah, and for the first time show, it's not bad.
And for a theater such of that size and magnitude,
of course.
But definitely looking back, right now, I guess, like kind of like taking in the year, my sophomore year right now, that we've definitely grown, and I think we've proven to a lot of people that we can put on a show without any money, any budget. That Stockton Night Live show had zero money, had zero budget. I mean, no money put into the show at all, and I think we're really proud of that, because we just kind of scrapped it up and we really put on a really funny. People enjoyed it. People really did enjoy it.
Yeah, of course. And it also filled a little bit of a void here where we didn't really have that much going on campus to like entertain the students. And we feel like that with a show like this, we can give students something to do on Friday night. Come and do it for an hour or whatever day it might be. Just come and watch for an hour, enjoy yourself, and then go back to your apartment, do whatever.
Of course.
But it fills a nice little void there, because there's not really a ton to do on campus at the current moment, but
there really isn't. I think it's a shame.
Yeah, there needs to be more that's done, and we're working on it every day.
I think with our power here at SSTV, and even not just SSTV, but the whole Stockton Comm department, we have a really big opportunity to actually create that kind of entertainment, because we actually have the TV personality people that can put on.
And we also have the equipment too.
Of course, and I think how it starts is the vision and also the passion, I've always said. And
yes,
I think if people really hone that, which they have, I've noticed that this year, they really have honed the passion, something can really get done. I think we've proven that with our first SNL show.
Yeah.
And
we made big strides this year.
We're definitely looking forward to building upon that. And I mean, I've really loved working with SSTV. I couldn't ask for a much better situation than I am here at Stockton University.
Of course. At first, I just want to give a quick thank you to SSTV, Kadar, Yashana, everybody involved, for letting us use the studio, as well as the equipment, microphones, everything like that.
We've learned a lot from them.
Yeah, not only have we learned a lot, but we've also learned how to use a lot of equipment, and then we've also put together a production like you see here. It's a very nice production. We got lights, we've got good cameras, we have good microphones. Hopefully something we could do for a very long time here at Stockton. But now that we learned a little bit about what you've done here so far, do you have like any, say like within the next year or two, anything that you want to start up again, maybe something that hasn't been done at Stockton yet that you want to start, or do you have any like personal goals for yourself as far as film goes? Or
well, I mean, I'm always thinking ahead. I'm always kind of thinking of new opportunities that we can do here at SSTV, and definitely want to, like I said, start the Nest back up.
Yes.
Because that was a really good production and new show. Mm-hmm. Definitely move forward with SNL and Stockton Night Live. We've definitely done a really good job with that. And again, like I've said, the people involved with it, I couldn't thank them more for their help. And, it's been a good team.
There's a lot of volunteer work that goes into this as well.
Of course.
And this wouldn't be possible without people that volunteered and came out and helped.
And now, definitely I want to make them a part of the team. And they are part of the SNL team now, and they've
Yeah.
done really a good job.
Of course.
And definitely, like, hey, Jackson, a co-host from The Nest, he has
Jackson Vera, for anybody who doesn't know. Pretty sure I said his last name right.
Yep.
Boisvert.
It's hard to say.
Yeah, it's
Boisvert
French. Yeah, it's spelled it's spelled oddly, but it's
of course.
It's a very cool name.
It took me a while, but
yeah, I still don't know how to spell it.
Yeah, no.
Anyway.
It was he has a game show he's trying to get started, and
does he have a name for it?
I don't know the name, but I know he just joined a fraternity, so I think he's trying to incorporate Greek life with the game show, and I think that'd be really good. I'm really
again. It's filling a void, just like SNL did. We need more things like this, more student involved projects and entertainment that makes campus life more fun.
Of course,
and makes it like you see someone in the academic building one night, and you're like, hey, did you go see SNL that night? And they're like, what'd you think of it? And you can talk about it like that. It just fills a nice little void that's there. But anyway,
and I think it's overall a learning process, because I think because we're growing so much, it does put more of a learning opportunity for us SSTV students, because in other colleges to where everything's all set with them, not every college, but maybe like the bigger schools like Syracuse or whatever, they might have everything set for them, and you just go out and do it. Whereas with us, we're just planting the seed and we're making it grow. We're no light or even water is even possible in a way.
Yep.
And I think we're definitely it's a learning experience. And I think that kind of helps us in turn, for our future careers within this industry, because if we're able to actually grow it from the ground up, and hopefully even give it that stepping stone for future students here, so they can have all the opportunities that maybe we really didn't coming in.
Yeah.
But it's something that I definitely would never trade for anything, because I definitely would never trade it for the world, because I think I kind of like the projects to where you kind of like prove people wrong, and like you're like the underdog in a way, right?
Yeah.
And we've definitely grown, and I've really been excited about it, and it's a learning experience, like I said.
Yes, of course. So one little thing, just a little bit on my background. So I'm more of I'm also a comm student, but I'm more of a esports oriented person. So I travel occasionally for esports events, things like that, and just want to make it part of this podcast to ask whatever guests that I have about esports and what they think about it, because it's a new field, and it's something that not a lot of people know things about. Like it's very new, and obviously anything that's new, just like any other field, like people are gonna doubt it at first, and they're not gonna think it's legit. So I just kind of want to get like your idea on. Obviously, you've seen me live the life of esports for the past couple of years.
Of course.
Just from like an outsider's point of view, what do you think of the scene as a whole? Like, what do you think? Like, do you think it has room to grow? What have you seen so far that has impressed you? Anything like that?
Well, I think the biggest thing that's impressed me for sure is just the growth and just the opportunity that lies within esports.
Yeah.
Again, like I'm not personally a big video game player myself, and I'm not really like a big esports person, but I like to kind of see the opportunity that's kind of grown within it. Mm-hmm. And definitely like even like with you traveling, I know across like the country, like you just went to Fort Worth and everything.
Yeah.
And it's I really don't know that much about the esports. I'm not really in a position to like talk too much about it. But I will say is that I've, of course, you read up on things, you just hear, just esports, how many people even are involved with it too. Maybe not as much as you are, but just people who, are even like aspiring to kind of be like, man, I want to kind of be like this person or that person. And just the growth that's happened over the years. And I think, we've seen it definitely in the last 3 years for sure.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree with you there. There's been, even since like this whole scene really started back in like the mid 2000s, but it wasn't really, it wasn't a thing, like an actual thing, until like it didn't become like its own actual industry until early 2010s, so like in 2011 12 area. But there's been things that have had just like there's been massive amounts of money put into the to the field itself, and there's been lots of money put into the production. There's been lots of money put into the tournaments. There's been lots of money put into content, especially like content's huge in esports as far as, like making entertaining videos, podcasts, things like that. But there's just been an overall rejuvenation of the scene and lots of money being put in, and it's this huge thing now. And what I compare it to is the last time that an industry similar to this blew up the way it has was the airline industry. It started as like one airline or one airplane just like getting flown, and then it just evolved over time, and now air travel is an aspect of everyday American life, really.
And it only grows, because I think that's kind of like a good analogy point right there, because with the airline industry, of course, people are so used to, they
were so used to just getting in their car and driving wherever they didn't.
Yeah.
Like that type of stuff didn't exist.
I think the comparison with that is with esports. People are so. I think the biggest like almost turn off in a way with people with esports is that the word sport is at the end, and people really don't associate video games with sports. Mm-hmm. Which they can make a case for it, but at the same time, it's competitive, and sports are competitive. So. I think over time people are going to eventually accept esports as in the sports category. It's crazy as it sounds. It's becoming that way, and I think because of that, because the reason for it is because of the growth within the industry. I think it's amazing.
Yep. So now that we have that out of the way, I just want to get a little bit of Colton's opinion. That's going to be something that I ask almost everybody, unless of course we have like an esports oriented podcast, which I do have planned. I'm going to have some sort of personality on here. Yeah, stay tuned. Come into the next one, whenever it is. But anyway, quick plug. We're going to shift a little bit back into the comm department and SSTV itself, just to see a little bit like more of a year in review type thing. Colton has a little bit more insight on that than I would. But let's just talk about that a little bit. Let's talk about, what this year, besides like what we've talked about already, let's talk about like what we've done this year as far as SSTV goes in the comm department, what strides we've made here at Stockton.
I think overall, I guess I'll focus on SSTV real quick. Like the strides we've made, like I said, have been amazing, incredible, because we really started off from a really small. When I mean small, I mean very small club.
Very small, less than 5 people.
Oh yeah, if that. It was just really last year, my freshman year, just Jackson, Vera, and I, really just doing most of the work, and which was fun. It was a lot of fun doing the nest and everything. But of course, this year you have, a lot of help, and we have close now to like maybe even 13 people close.
Yep.
That are like active, maybe even other people who kind of get involved here and there sometimes. So I think the biggest thing, if I can sum up sophomore year, has been energy. The word has been energy, because of course there's, too many things we still have left to do, and a lot of things that I think we can definitely improve on.
Yeah.
But this year was like the year of definitely like energy that was involved with SSTV, and I think we're really bringing in a lot of people from the comm department. I think that's really how the comm department, as a whole grows at Stockton University, for that matter.
We've made good strides so far this year, and I think that if we give it like one more calendar year, within the next calendar year, let's say, within the next calendar year, I think that this program will be kicking out content almost every day.
Of course.
And that's something that I think it's important for a school to have content like this, so that when they watch, like especially like this podcast here, students that are thinking about coming here, or students that are already here, they can see other things that their peers are making. Excuse me. And then there's other kids, like I said before, that kids that are thinking about coming here, they can see what we're doing, what type of production we have, and this is an invitation for anybody that's watching. Come on out. Like I said before, come on out, get involved. We can always use more people. The school, in general, anyway, not even just at SSTV. Get involved with anything else. If you're already here at Stockton, get involved with something. If you're thinking about coming here or going even to another school, get involved. It makes it so much more fun. Makes it a lot more involving, and makes you feel one with your campus. But I'm just looking forward to. I'm a commuter student, so. I'm just looking forward to getting back up here again next semester in fall of 2019, and working more on this, and working more on content in itself, and because I think this is definitely what me and you both want to do, and I think by doing this you get a lot more hands-on experience, and it'll get us a lot further.
Of course, I think with SSTV, like the biggest thing is our motto is like create and inspire for students by students. So we like I've said before, that we allow that opportunity for independency in a way, to where we really don't have Kadar and Yashan and all them and Jeremy.
Yeah.
They watch us. They make sure that everything's okay and everything's running smoothly. But overall, it's the students that are actually putting on the content and putting on the ideas, and they don't want to I guess step on our heels too much. They let us do our thing, which
you have to let the mind run wild,
of course, and succeed and fail. I think, like I said, the biggest thing for people is they're afraid of failure, and that's why they either don't want to get involved with camera stuff, because for some people people get camera shy, which of course everyone does sometimes, and even like myself, going back, like I said, my junior year of high school.
This is even relatable for me too. Once he finishes his
my first broadcast live on camera was in front of the whole high school live, and my junior year of high school, of course, and Mr. Best, he just threw me into it, and I'm happy he did that because it's a good learning experience. But I did an interview. And it was good. Talking about heart racing, hands sweating. I was.
There is
freaking
video
out.
of this. There's video of this somewhere. Maybe not the first show. If the first show,
I can get it for you. Actually, I do have the video.
If the first show is there, I'm gonna put a clip in here. Right,
I archive everything.
Okay, so if he has everything, then there will be a clip here at some point. But
yeah, no, it was amazing, and it's funny just to see your progress, because now I can easily get in front of a camera without a problem, and I really don't care at all.
As can I.
And
something that,
and of course, and even too, sometimes you have your days to where you're for some reason feeling anxious, and you're just not really not really on your A game, which is is fine. That's part of the failure. Even when you're at the pinnacle of where you think you're at, you're never at the top. I know I could definitely improve, and more than I can, from where I'm at right now. And I think that goes for of course any major, any kind of practice. And I think just the biggest thing I can take away for either people who are coming into SSTV, people coming into Stockton, is regardless of what major you are or anything, what practice you're trying to go for, just hone it and just own it. You should never let fear take over you, and be willing to fail, because you're going to fail many, many more times than you succeed. And I think with failure comes learning processes, and without failure you don't learn, and you have to definitely own it and just be willing to roll with the punches in a way.
Yep. Oh, no. I like that. I like that a lot. Colton, thank you so much for joining
me.
The first one here, Vera King Farris podcast. Not quite sure what the schedule on this is going to be quite yet, but like I said before, I'm really excited to, especially next semester. This was kind of just like a feeler one, but next semester I'm definitely looking forward to getting up and making this hopefully a weekly thing. Having guests every single week, but anyway, yeah, like I said before, thank you again to Colton for coming out. Also, thank you to SSTV for letting us use the equipment again. Like I said before, anybody else that I shouted out during the course of the podcast, we appreciate you. Check them out. Thank you so much for watching. Was there any social media you wanted to plug or anything like that? Twitter, Instagram?
Yeah. Social media, we have SSTV has Twitter. We have Instagram.
Yep.
We were on Snapchat. We probably should get back on Snapchat.
We are on Snapchat.
Stay tuned.
I'll put it on the screen. I'm not sure what it is, but I'll put it on the screen.
Exactly.
Anything personal? Any personal Twitter, personal Instagram, anything like that?
Follow me, Colton Van Cleave, Twitter, Instagram.
Yep. Tags will be on the screen.
Of course. And biggest thing with SSTV, just stay tuned. We got a lot more coming.
Of course. Like I said again, thank you so much, guys, for watching. Appreciate it, and we'll be back soon.